following announcement has been paid for by the New World Order.
Miller can beat you in 6 different ways.
Well, we don't have to worry about you for a while. Like, the Baylor.
That's great. I was jumping way ahead. Stand up, huh? Hey! Woo! I don't bring anything else to this. I have to do it. It's a little bit of representation. That's all I've got. It may not get you very far, but that's all I've got. Hold on.
Hello, welcome to Couchcasters Podcast. I'm Jeff, he's Parker, he's Hunter, he's Fonzie. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Week 1 in the books, fellas.
Afternoon or good evening, more so. Yes, good evening. Good evening. Yes, lots to talk about, lots to discuss leading into the game this weekend. But good to see you boys. Good to see you boys. I know it's only been a day, but if anybody wants to see that podcast from last night, we had a fantasy one, so go see that one.
Yeah, that was good times. You should have joined, Fonz. We were calling for you. I don't know if you were watching or not, but we were.
I was 2 drafts going on. Just trying not to mess
Oh, that's right. I forgot you were simul drafting. Yeah, I forgot you were simul drafting.
I only screwed up 1 pick, so I'll draw it up as a win.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, I forgot you were going to at the same time. So yeah, that was impressive.
How does everybody feel about their team? I don't think we talked about it after the draft.
Oh, I thought everybody did rather well. Eric, it'll be interesting to see how Eric does, but I think I know Lempicky gave him some shit for taking Derrick Henry, but that is their team, so he will get like 25 carries a game.
He'll get plenty of chances.
My bet would probably be Chad or Trent probably winning it. I don't know. Their teams are stacked. I don't think Kelsey stays out for long. I think we briefly talked about that, Fonzie.
Yeah, no, he'll be fine. I mean, like I said, he hasn't missed a game due to injury in a decade. Dude's been concussed and everything else, and he still plays. So,
yep, that's nuts.
Yeah, even when I picked up Burrow and he was like questionable, I think he's not questionable anymore. So, there's no way he's missing that many.
No, he's fine. I think my team's a sleeper. I'm just going to throw that out there. It's very deep. My running backs could very work out for me. So, just saying, don't sleep on me.
Or, dude, that's how you sneak up on them.
OJ Broncos, baby.
It's Tyreek Hill's daycare now. Hello.
I saw that. Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
Tyreek Hill's daycare.
I really wanted Tyreek. That I just went with Waddle.
Little PG-13, but if you don't know, you don't know. So just keep it that way.
Yeah, it's a family show.
That's right.
All right, gentlemen. Well, here we go. Week 1 in the books. Alabama looked pretty good, I'd say. A lot different feel than last year, in my opinion. Defense seemed a lot faster, more aggressive, flying to the ball, finishing, playing aggressively, playing smart. Also, the defensive backs actually making plays on the ball. I mean, that play Arnold made in the first quarter, he literally turned around, found the ball, and deflected it. I was like,
first snap of the year.
Who knew? Who's been screaming this for years? Like, just turn around. Play the ball. Jalen Key did it, pick.
Mm-hmm. Caleb Downs, too, didn't look out of place at all.
No. He had a couple plays, I think, where he looked like a freshman. But I would expect that from a freshman.
Right. Really encouraging, though, from the secondary. I think they're 6 or 7 deep back there with, some guys that can really play. And I think that was
Agreed.
kind of expected going in, but it's good to see it kind of come to fruition. They'll get tested this week, so probably learn
They
a little more.
will.
But
Yeah. Even though the cupcake game, it was very refreshing to what I saw. It was like a breath of fresh air.
Agreed. I was just
I
happy to see some physicalness, just to get some
Yeah,
umph
that's
back
good.
into it, some nastiness on both sides of the ball.
I feel like we were missing that bite, you know?
Oh yeah, I mean, I love the gang tackling, the team tackle, as a lot of people want to call it. Just going to the ball, and that helps out. 9 times out of 10, unless you're Derrick Henry or somebody. But I don't know. I'm just glad to see some nastiness back in it, and very, very happy with the offensive line. Did show me some things. There was some errors, but nothing that can't be cleaned up.
There's
However,
one
there
particular
Jeff already knows. Actually, all of you already know.
Y'all
my,
know. I don't
yeah,
have to
you
say
all
it. Y'all know where the weak link was on that line. Y'all saw it. Y'all had eyeballs. Y'all saw who was 2 yards back in the backfield on multiple plays. Y'all saw who Milrow had to step up to avoid because he was about to get sacked by his own player. So
I just
but
don't understand.
We knew
You
that.
have 5 years. You're a grad senior, and you've been in the program for 5 years, and you cannot progress in any form of the game. You have just not done anything. You are literally, I think he's regressed in some of the things. I just don't understand. But you know what? I'm all for hashtag start Ferguson. Let's go. If you're about it, hey, get some new faces in there. At least give me something different, because I know exactly what I'm getting with this guy. And I'm sorry.
If he starts Saturday, he's going to have a short leash if Texas eats him up.
He will be eaten
100%.
alive. Eaten alive.
That's my fear. And I didn't go into this game watching for him to screw up. I'm like, gave it, let him play guard, different position. And there were just multiple times where he stood straight up 2 yards in the backfield. And I'm like, he's trying, he just can't do it.
Yep.
Okay, the kid's trying. He just can't do it. Good depth piece, but I don't know that he can be part of that starting 5 over 14 games, however many games we need.
No, he shouldn't be playing every snap, especially with Ferguson there.
Yes.
Ton to prove with Ferguson too.
I agree.
He
I
was
just need something different.
serviceable Saturday night in the snaps he played, but he didn't stick out to me as being starter quality necessarily either. So there's something to figure out there, but Dalcourt certainly didn't prove that he belongs either.
That was the thing.
No, he did not.
Disappointing.
You know what you're going to get with him. So, as to both of y'all's point, depth player, I'm glad he's back, I guess, for that manner. But I just need somebody who's going to be able to protect. And obviously, Milrow's a different breed of quarterback compared to what Bryce was and what Tua and Jalen were. He's a kind of a mixture of all of those things if he can really hone in on these skills. Now, y'all have heard me. I was the biggest Milrow guy last year, and then he kind of disappointed me, and then I've kind of been crapping on him all preseason. I'm not gonna lie that I have on it, but he showed me some impressive things in the game. Now I know it was against Middle Tennessee, but it's I did see some progression there. Now there's a couple ones that were like, a couple bad throws. Happens, first game of the year. This game's going to be a really test coming up here on Saturday. We're really going to see what he's made of, and if he's going to be able to lead the team. Because this Texas team, they're going to give us a test. Kind of like last year, I think this team, maybe overall, I know their wide receivers are still really, really good. It'll be interesting to see how that happens. And their defensive line is actually really, really good as well. They brought back a lot of people.
So how many are back from last year? Do we know?
I don't know the number off the top of my head.
Starters?
Yeah, I don't know the number. Yeah.
No,
I think
wanna
the
say
nose
it.
tackle's back, or one of those interior defensive linemen is back.
Yeah.
Because they were talking about him earlier on something I was listening to or watching, but I can't remember his name. But
Yeah, I also wouldn't be shocked if they only prepared for this game, just so they can put that on their board.
Well, let's agree with that. I totally agree with that. But let's be honest. That was a very vanilla game plan Saturday. I mean, they didn't really do much of motions. They didn't do really much of anything on offense other than really basic stuff for, I think, several reasons. Mainly not first start, but, week one, get them comfortable, plus way inferior opponent, and you don't want to give anything away going into the game this week.
Now, don't get me wrong, too. Everybody, I saw a lot of things, too. Ohio State fans, I saw. Here's a shout out to you, Ohio State fans out there. Somebody out there said, because of the ranking drop, we're number 3 this week. We were number 4 last week.
FSU nipping at our heels.
Oh, right there, man, right there. Although I got to give hats to Florida State, absolutely whipping LSU. Did not see that coming.
Ooh, God, did they ever?
I loved every second of it.
But Ohio State, I saw an Ohio State fan. They were complaining about the dropping some spots in the ranking after beating Rutgers, and then Alabama obviously played Middle Tennessee, and Middle Tennessee last year was an 8-5 team. Okay, Rutgers had, I don't know how many games they've won in the last.
Indiana, and they were really bad last year.
Yeah, Indiana. I'm sorry. Yes, it was Indiana. And in one of those games that they played, they lost by 35 points. So I don't know where the issue is on it. The comparison and complaining about that was my only pet peeve on it.
Did LSU drop that out altogether out of the top 25?
No, they're like 14.
No, they're 14.
Yeah,
14. Okay. Clemson dropped to 25, I think.
Excuse me. First off, you can't lose to Duke like that bad and stay in the top 25. That is complete horse excrement. Okay, you hear me? That is Mr. Falcon bull poop. Okay, like I'm telling you, TCU should never be allowed in again. I told y'all that going into the season. They should have been banned from the top 25 for that performance at championship game. And then they go out and they lose to Colorado. Now, it's granted, it's a different Colorado team than last year, but they missed 25-something tackles that game. Total frauds. Fraud alert. So that's, give me a break. Like,
and I combined the
Clemson
points
still ranked as horse
game.
bleep. Anyway, go ahead.
They looked off.
I'm sorry. TCU, I think you can run the numbers. So did they score 7 points in the championship game?
Yes.
It was like 63-7, something like that.
Word.
So they scored 42.
You're banned.
They 42 on Saturday, right? So that's 49 points. They've scored 49 points and been outscored 100-49 in two football games. I know teams are different, but good Lord. But guess what? Clemson's no better. So you can put both those teams together. I don't know who's going to win.
The fact Clemson is still ranked is an abomination. Like, if they would have lost in overtime on a field goal or a fluke play,
no, not even that. Yeah.
But they got slaughtered.
They were anemic. Yeah.
They got freaking slaughtered. That was at Clemson, wasn't it?
Yeah. It was at Clemson.
At Duke.
Duke.
Was that Duke? Okay, never mind.
Yeah. Even so, Alabama went in there and hung 60 on them, I think, last time, right? Okay. That's what you do when you go to Duke, is you blow people up. You don't get blown out 28-7. Or was that the final, 28-7?
28-7.
Yep.
I mean, come on. You can't be ranked after that. You cannot be ranked after that.
Good news for South Carolina.
I agree. Clemson should not be ranked. A lot of people have just been ruining Duke because of their history. They're returning 19 starters. They were a 9-4 team last year. They have players. Like, I would not be surprised to see that team play in the ACC championship this year.
Who's coaching?
I don't think they will.
Do we know?
Mike Elko.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
I've
He's
been
done a great job. Like, those guys can play. At the same time, you are Clemson. your perennial top 10 team. Cade Klubnik's supposed to be the next great quarterback coming out of Clemson. And they could not find a way to put points on the board with 5 opportunities in the red zone.
What was it?
It's embarrassing. It's indictment on Dabo. I mean, Will Shipley actually had a decent game. It was a brutal watch. They should not be ranked. They're ranked based off brand, and it's sad. It was depressing.
It was Shepard, right? Will Shepard, who's one of the running backs for Clemson. Shipley. Is he related to the Shipley that played?
Yes, it's the Jordan Shipley's younger brother, I think.
Okay.
Shouldn't be. That's what he should be called.
Well, he was a legit last year. He really was. But I think it just goes down to this. The inability to change. Dabo does not want to go with the times. And I don't know what the issue is. I mean, I'm not the biggest NIL guy. I'm not the biggest transfer portal guy, but that's the way it is. That's the way the game is now. If you don't accept it, you're going to get left in the dust. So I mean, either do it and start progressing back to what you're trying to do and get back to the playoffs and win a national championship, or get left in the dust. So that's. I mean, I don't know. I saw a stat that today, and Clemson had 52 or 54 5-star, something like that, on their team total, or something along those numbers. Duke had 2. You cannot have that happen.
I mean, Fonzie said it best. Like Duke, you're right. Duke is better.
Agreed.
But you're Clemson. Like, you've been building this program for 6-7 years. Like, you shouldn't lose to Duke.
Never.
I mean, they should be competitive. Can it be a competitive game? Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Absolutely, it can. These are athletes. They're still athletes when it comes down to it. But you're right. Clemson should not lose to Duke like that. Anybody can lose on a fluke play, but to just get slaughtered that cannot happen.
Right out of the gate, too.
And to your point, Fonzie, as you said,
on national TV, get out of the top 25.
Clemson is only ranked based on brand. Had it happened to Alabama, we would be in the same position. Had we had lost something like that, now
we wouldn't have. You're right. We wouldn't have dropped out.
We would have been 20.
Know. If we had lost 28-7 to Middle Tennessee, we may have. We should have.
Possibly.
We should have.
Yeah. But yeah, no, jeez. I mean,
same thing happens with Notre Dame. Like, there's times where Notre Dame doesn't really deserve to be where it's at. But
they're a bunch of blowhards anyway.
Yeah.
So.
They look pretty good in 2 games, though.
They do.
Yeah.
They do. We'll see what happens when
that quarterback looks pretty good.
Sam Howell? No.
Is Sam
Hartman. Sam Howell in the league now.
He's at the Reds or the Commanders. Sorry.
Commanders.
Uh-oh.
Canceled.
Canceled.
Show's off the air. Might as well just hang up now.
It
was a great 18 minutes, guys. Have a great week.
Meant the next 40 minutes as our apology video.
We'll be like Michael Scott's apology video. I'll do it just like Michael Scott's apology video.
Or the thing from South Park, Hunter, where it goes, "We're sorry." Sorry. Can't show the image of what it was doing, but yes, very funny. Oh man.
So, I mean, but yeah, can't be ranked after a performance like that. Even if you're Clemson, you can't be ranked after a performance like that. Just not cool.
No way.
I mean, they just looked so unprepared. It was just it was so bad.
I mean, Auburn should be ranked ahead of Clemson. At least Auburn took care of business against a crap opponent. That's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah,
I mean, you're supposed to wax these inferior opponents. Not saying Duke is to the point where they should have blown out. Clemson should have blown them out, but handle business against somebody you're supposed to.
I would say Duke's, if we're comparing all the teams, UMass and Middle Tennessee, Duke's a much more name brand than those teams, obviously.
Yeah.
I mean, Duke.
UMass known for basketball, but
yeah. I mean, wasn't it like, I don't know, about 10 years ago, Duke was actually playing in a really, really nice bowl game, and I think they played Johnny Manziel. Was that right? Now, Johnny absolutely ran all over him, but
I think he hung 49 on him or something. That was in the Chick-fil-A Bowl, I believe.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And they were good that year.
Manziel's last game.
Yep.
That he was any good.
So, I mean, they've had years.
After watching that Johnny Football documentary, I kind of sit back and I'm like, man, we got robbed of seeing him play college football for at least one more year. He should have stayed one more year. But seeing everything he was going through at that time on campus, he had to get out of there. But still, like, even though he beat us, and then the next time we played him there, it was the Mike Evans game, and just the haymakers back and forth, and the 49, was it 49-42, I think was the final of that game.
Yep.
He was fun to watch play college football. Whatever you think about the guy, he was fun to watch.
Not on our end, but yeah.
I mean, yeah, when you weren't playing him. But I enjoyed watching that bowl game that he hung 49 on Duke or however many he did. He was just running all over the place that night. You remember that game, Parker, don't you? Yeah.
I remember both games, unfortunately. In 12, we ended up winning the Natty. In 13, unfortunately, we had the kick six that really put a thorn in our side for a while. But no, that game in College Station, I lost at the wrong time. But that game in College Station, it was haymakers. And I remember at halftime, we had a good lead on them. And they just kept crawling and fighting back in that game.
He was like 3-step drop, and he would just chuck it to whatever side Evans was on. And poor Cyrus Jones had no chance.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, Evans like 6'6", like a 9-foot wingspan. Cyrus Jones like 5'8", like it was over.
Yep.
And guess what happened?
Although I do remember the Italian himself, Vinny Cincinnati, picking off Johnny and going like 75 yards and then just going for the touchdown. The final one was getting hit by like a 300-pound lineman, and he goes limp as a fish into the end zone. I was like, okay, we're going to win this game.
Didn't Vinny juke him?
He did. He juked Johnny. He juked Johnny and made him
that pick or something like that.
Yes, he did.
If I remember
Johnny
correctly.
goes and slide tackle him or whatever and just miss and whiff.
Yeah.
I was like, that was a bad man. And see, Vinny got hurt that year too. Like in the very, very end of the season, he tore his ACL. So I was like, dang, because we were good. We were good.
That game was insane. I mean, that game was just nuts. I remember coming to work that Monday, texting telling my Auburn friends at work, like, by the way, and whenever you play these guys, whoever's guarding number 13 for A&M has no chance. Just letting you know. I'm just telling you right now. Be prepared for it. You're gonna have to win in spite of that guy because you got no shot. And he went for like 228 against Auburn that day, and he went for like 230 against us. I mean, it was just nuts.
Johnny got hurt that game against Auburn that year.
I remember
and he went away for like maybe 10 plays, and he starts coming back out throwing off. And my dad goes, they just shot him full of horse steroids in his shoulder. Numb the crap out of it. So who knows? I mean, but then again,
Varsity Blues. Come on now.
Let's
go now, boys. Come on now.
Come on, boys.
Yeah. So, what do you guys? Back to real life. What are you guys' impression of Milroe, QB1?
I think he exceeded pretty much everyone's expectations, including mine. Pretty much from the get-go, too. He looked very comfortable. Start of the second quarter, through about the halfway point of the second quarter, the offense looked a little shaky. But I think the play calling helped a ton, too. Like, downs where I know it's not, Milroe's not responsible for all that, but third down, we looked like a completely different team. We actually ran the ball, 3rd and 2, 3rd and 1 on the goal line even.
Dude, we get a quarterback sneak.
Yeah, I mean,
We did a QB sneak on 3rd and foot.
Who
I was
knew?
like, look at this. What do you know?
Who
It's
knew?
the most unstoppable play in football.
Well,
Yeah,
it's amazing when you have an OC where their whole strategy is, well, maybe Bryce Young can do something. It's like,
Yeah, it was the Bill O'Brien. Hey, hike it and
Yeah.
figure it out.
yep.
yeah,
Around.
you have an OC that actually
think
wants
I'm
to make
more-
plays for Milrow.
I think I'm more pissed even now than I was before the game because of how underutilized. But then again, we're not going to touch up on the past. We're focused on the now. So, I mean, if Bryce Young had a competent OC, he probably would have had at least one national championship. If the other entailing factors, but yeah, there's that.
Yeah, he missed a few throws. I thought he had a couple throws that he missed. I think he missed Burton on that one play. He didn't really give him enough time because he had Burton wide open on that one play. Made up for it later, but would have had another touchdown if that guy wouldn't have tackled Bond the first time down on the goal line, which is the smart play in college. If you're going to give up a touchdown, just tackle the guy.
Yep.
15 yards and fight the next down. But he would have had another touchdown if not for that. Missed Burton that time and then missed a couple throws, but I would expect that from somebody with not a lot of experience. And
I saw
he's
more
not
good
a
than
polished passer, which we
You
all
look at-
know that.
Look at the stat right there. Jalen Miller, 13 for 18, 194, 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, 7 carries, 48 yards, 2 touchdowns.
That's solid.
He missed 5 throws. I'm not good. I won't grill the guy for doing that.
No,
I'm not.
That's
Now,
exactly
if he-
what I would expect a line like that.
And we know he's a athletic player. We know he's going to use his legs. If he doesn't use his legs, I don't know if we can beat people. But he's got to be able to use, he's got to be able to use his arm too and be in the passing and everything too. So
Right.
Yeah.
Well, his legs are a big part of his game, so they have to be incorporated somehow.
So my thing is, I saw dramatic improvements in the passing. I saw when he took that shot for the touchdown. I think it was a 40-something yarder, 50-yarder, and he got hit. And it was to Bond as well.
So that was the bomb to Bond right there. And he
took that shot. But you know what? He's also a lot bigger and stronger than Bryce Young when it comes to that. He should be able to take those
Not
shots.
fragile. Yeah, he can take a.
He looks like a running back. I mean, he looks like a running back or a safety. If you look at him,
My thing was
like,
if the QB thing doesn't work out, you can work out over there.
Oh yeah.
His
And I
speed
mean,
to put him somewhere.
Do I want him to take those shots? No. But he's definitely got the stature to take those shots more so. So I'll just say yes. I was impressed. This coming weekend is going to tell me a lot more. It's going to tell me a lot more.
It's going to have to. But the offense is going to have to be different. We can't do the same. We can't run that same stuff we ran last week. I think we're going to have to step it up. This is a different beast. I love the TD pass to Niblack. I think that was just a glimpse of the mismatch nightmare that he creates, that we've got to find a way to expose that regularly. I mean, he was 3-4 yards past that guy.
It's a perfect throw, too.
Thank you.
Milrow, the big question for me, at least, was his deep ball. And pretty much every chance he was right on the money.
It was like high rainmaker.
Mm-hmm.
Got an answer to that question.
Right in the breadbasket. So
yes.
It's really nice to see him do that, because I think last year in the A&M game, some of his deeper throws were kind of just chuck it up, see what happens.
Yeah.
Or they were underthrown. So
yeah.
His touch was great. He's clearly developed. I don't really have any questions about him to this point. We're moving
just against
forward.
a legit opponent is the only question.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And he did play a legit opponent last year when he played. Different team, granted. This is last year, but
different situation too.
On the road too. So he's cut his teeth in a more difficult spot than you'd like most people to. So
And
I
that's a
think
big
clearly
thing.
he's the guy.
I think I'm gonna bounce off your point there, Jeff. Um, Texas will mean something if he can get past us and do well. That will be another notch for me. The next one will be an away SEC game when we're not playing at home and you don't have the crowd behind you. And let's say you go down by like 3 points or a touchdown, or heck, even 2 touchdowns. How do you respond to that? We're going to take it week by week, day by day. Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see if he's got that
I
Bryce
think
Young
it's clear.
factor where he doesn't
Yeah.
let that stuff get in his head.
The kid's got all the talent in the world, man. The kid's got all the
I
talent.
love the
in the world.
poise when he bad snap to.
That was
He
amazing.
didn't look panicked to me. He looked very calm, like when he scooped the ball up, immediately was like, "All right, I'm out." And
That's important.
off he went. Like he didn't panic and muff the ball while he was trying to pick it up because he was in such a because he was in a panic trying to pick it up and do any of that. He was very poised, securing the ball, and then deciding, "All right, I'm out of here."
So I've seen the replay a couple times on that. What exactly happened? Was it just a botch snap by the
It was
center?
a bad
Horrible
snap,
snap. Yeah,
horrible snap.
Mm.
Which Seth had several.
a couple. Yeah,
Had a few tricky, interesting snaps.
He did well last year. That's surprising.
Yeah.
I will say though, I think Dickerson did too. So I think it took him like a game or two to kind of like
Settle in.
ease into it. So
Yeah.
I'm not too
He
worried.
turned out all right.
Yeah, top 5 guard in the league.
He was okay that year as a center for us. He did okay, I guess. I guess if you like, your center blowing the lineman back 4 or 5 yards every play,
It's a good trait.
it's fine. Yeah, it's fine.
One thing about Milrow too, he's just a really, really good dude. I listened to his interview
Oh, that was great.
after the game. He's just a lunch pail. Shout out Chris Collinsworth. Says that all the time, but he's a lunch pail guy. Like he comes in, he works. I think he has Alabama, the standard, just in his blood. So he's going to continue to get better. I don't think now that he's earned the job that he's just complacent.
Yeah.
I think he's hungry.
He
Where
is.
was the
He
interview?
wants to prove he wants to be the next great quarterback out of Alabama.
Yeah.
So
And
I expect
he's got
big things
ears.
out of him
He
this
can
week.
read. He knows the doubters. He
Yeah,
knows there's questions about him.
yeah. So
The crazy
Legit.
thing was,
We're not just making stuff up. These are legit questions to have about a guy that, that we had reservations about. But he's been in the lab, and he showed it. I thought he looked great running the ball. Had great command. Deep balls are beautiful. One problem we need to address is the running backs picking up blitzes. That was a little bit of an issue. I thought the offensive line played pretty well. I actually have some rushing stats here. Nothing that blows you away, but didn't really run the ball 10, 11 times in a row or establish anything. It was just kind of a balanced attack.
I mean, the most carries that any of the running backs had was McClellan. He had 10. I mean, so
That's a deep
yeah,
room.
that is a very, very deep
I mean,
room.
5 guys got carries in that game.
and every single one had pretty notable runs. Richard Young kind of surprised me. I mean,
I couldn't
don't
believe he
think-
got in the game. He got 5 carries.
Yeah, I don't know if he's gonna, stay in the mix too much, coming in as a true
Probably
freshman.
not.
Justice Haynes right next to him,
But no harm in playing him in a game like that.
no,
Agreed.
some of his runs
Yeah.
were really, really nice.
Yeah.
Justice Haynes had a really nice one. McClellan looked like McClellan, which was good.
And just remember, they get a
Yeah.
chance of 4 games. So they can play in 4 games, and then that's it. So
Is that the rule now?
it is. That's how Bryce played. I think it was in 2020. He played 4 games, and he retained his red shirt. So he was, we all know how that happened. But anyway, yeah, Yeah, I mean, I was, I really, unfortunately, I didn't get to see the second half, which everybody said that was the better half anyway to watch.
Yeah, as it should have been. I would expect that.
So,
Yeah, I expect
you know,
eventually just to wear them down.
I've got high hopes,
The
higher than I
receivers
did.
look pretty good too. I liked what I saw. Bond 5 for 76. Should have had 6 for a buck and 2 tubs, but
Bond looked great.
I liked what I saw from Bond, and then that one run, he just drilled that guy when he finished the run, just nailed him.
I
was
that.
like, man, now that's what I'm talking about. Some Julio Jones in you, baby.
Yeah, that's having that competitor in you. All right, that's what I want in my players. Not my players, but what everybody knows.
Yeah.
I want in my team that I love. I want to see.
Didn't even need Dupree.
Yeah, and he got the one reception I saw. I mean, I thought he was targeted.
A little 5-yard catch, but he blocked really well.
Yep.
But Bond looked great. I was really pleased with Bond's performance. Even Burton looked good. Burton should have had a catch and a tub. Had Milrose seen him on that play, he would have had however many yard touchdown that would have been. So we still left 14 points. Well, we didn't really leave the first one because it was pass interference, but there's 2 plays. That was 14 points right there that didn't go on the board.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. They utilized them right. I harp on this every show, but they didn't utilize Jermaine Burton right at all last year. Threw him over the top a few times. He was wide open. I mean, expect to see it more. He's good at it.
It goes back to it. It goes back to having a competent OC.
Well, now that Milrose has proven that he can make that throw. Don't question my deep ball. Like, watch this. I mean, they were beautiful throws, just high arc, like a basketball shot. Those high arcing basketball shots. And they come straight down, and like you said, right in the bread basket. Boom.
You've got me interested now. I think I'm going to have to go back and watch this game again, just to refresh my memory on some of this stuff.
You absolutely should.
And I think I've got to watch some tape on Texas. We had sent one of our coaches over there to scout Texas this week, or at the past game on Saturday. And when I say one of the coaches, one of the assistants, we call it, one of those admin people. I don't know what they. Your guess is y'all's guess is as good as mine when it comes to it. I don't know. I've got high hopes.
I mean,
especially with a defense like this, the way they played. Yeah. I was so concerned last year and the year prior because, yes, we were putting up all the points, but we didn't. I mean, yes, Will Anderson was a freak. Okay? Everybody talks about that. And Bryce Young was a freak. But the team as a whole, I'm going to be honest, it wasn't a great team. The 21 team was better than last year's team. We all know that. But this defense having the back end, there's plenty of players on offense that can make this happen. But the defense, as long as we can stay healthy, keep playing the way they're playing. I know it's just one game, but it just seems something's different, and I like what I'm seeing.
I loved what I saw from Lawson.
Agreed.
And Quandarius Robinson, too.
Yes, speed and physicality.
Didn't highlight him a whole lot. I think I mentioned him in the linebacker episode as a guy that, kind of played last year. But
was known for one thing.
Special teams.
The muff against Tennessee. That's what he's known for. Like when you ever hear that name, that's the first thing you think of. So I loved what I saw from him.
He looked really good.
Like I'm gonna rewrite my legacy now. Like blitzing, and he had a nice sack or a tackle for loss. He looked fast. I liked what I saw from him, and I like when a guy goes through that adversity. And Saban, I think, wanted to kill him after that play against that mental gaffe. But credit to him, didn't let it define him, and here he is making plays on Saturday.
Now, is there another? There was another linebacker. I don't know if he played in this game. He might have been injured, but I saw a post recently. Is it Jaheed Campbell? Does that name sound
Jihad.
familiar?
Odd Campbell.
Jihad Campbell.
Jihad Campbell.
Yeah.
Apparently, he's been. I don't know if he got hurt in the
He
game.
did not play.
He did not play. He's supposed to be.
Unless I miss him.
Anybody got an echo?
No.
Somebody's earbuds
I'm hearing the
disconnect. There we go. It's gone.
Okay, sorry. But yes, apparently he should be good to go for this game. He's practicing. I don't know, what he'll bring to the table too, if he'll even play. But it's always good to have more depth. So, just in case anything happens.
Here's a funny fact about Jihad Campbell. So last night I was watching the HBO documentary called BS High on that Bishop Sycamore fake
Sycamore,
story
yep.
thing.
I got that on my watch list. Is it good?
Yes, it's
Okay.
insane.
I didn't watch that.
It will blow your mind. Like,
Yeah.
But that game they played against IMG that they got beat like 58-0, and it was a total crap show. But Jihad Campbell was on that IMG team, and so
Okay.
a couple of plays they mentioned tackled by Jihad Campbell, blah blah blah, and I was like, look at this guy, he's flying all over the field. So that's the only film I've ever seen of him. That's the only time I've ever saw. I had no idea that he played in that game until I watched that documentary and they mentioned it. They were showing a clip in the commentary, the radio comment, or whoever was calling the game for whatever. Tackle for loss by Jihad Campbell or something by Jihad Campbell, and I was like, hey,
I know that.
So is he? So
put
is
your
he a
ass on the
sophomore?
field in Tuscaloosa and do that there.
Is he a sophomore?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, I think we had talked about it. I remember in the linebacker episode, I just couldn't remember what year he was.
Him and Jeremiah Alexander are two that I really hope take that next step.
Mm-hmm.
But
Me too.
I liked what I saw from the squad. I mean, Jalen Key looked amazing. That pick he had was fantastic. Caleb Downs looked great. A couple plays where he looked like a freshman, but other than that, he looked amazing. Like I felt really good about a couple busted assignments and some of those where they would go and turn and throw back, and then they'd go up the sidelines. There's a couple busted assignments, a couple things to work on, but as a whole, I thought the defense was just way more aggressive, way more physical.
They were swarming at times, which is
Swarming.
something I don't remember
Fast.
very often past few years.
Yes. So I really felt good about that.
Looked really
Honestly,
good.
haven't seen the team tackling or gang tackling, as I like to call it. That's the way I grew up hearing it. I haven't seen it since really like 17. I mean, but 16 was that was the recent memory of
Since
just
Golding was there, we
Golding, yeah.
completely lost the physicality of the defense, the mindset.
Agreed.
So immediately, first game since he's gone, you see it again. Finishing plays, finishing tackles, driving people in the ground, flying. Lawson had that giant knee brace on, and he was still flying all over the field. Jaheim Otis has lost 120 pounds, it looks like.
He can move now too.
He looks like Quinnen Williams now. He hadn't made an impact like Quinnen, but I mean, he's moving quick, like you said. He's quick now, quick off the line, bang bang at first move.
He lost that much weight, or were you really? Or
I
was
mean,
that
he's down to like low threes now.
I mean, he came in like pushing 430.
Good. Come on.
Yes.
I mean, he's a monster, but
he was
he
4 bills clear.
He looks so much quicker. And last year, I mean, I think he was down to 350, 340.
He had lost.
He was still a beast.
Agreed.
So I mean, add the speed into that, and that's something special. He's going to be a beast, and a lot of weights on his shoulders too. He's going to have to, crutch
He's got to
that
anchor it.
line at points, I think. But
he's the anchor.
He's a good player. He's a great player.
He's the anchor.
So
agreed.
Thankfully, he's not the only one that's got to, have to make the plays too. He's got people around him who've also got to step up because they're carrying. To your point, they're carrying a lot of weight. A lot of people have been, I feel like a lot of people have been talking about the defense for the last couple of years. I know we've harped on it for the last, year and a half from doing the podcast, but I don't know. I'm just, I'm ready for Saturday.
I mean, I'd be lying if I said I wasn't nervous about Saturday. But
Nervous?
Sark always makes me nervous. That guy's the best play caller I've ever seen. And if he's got athletes running the plays he calls, it's a problem.
Agreed.
And but I feel I'm not as nervous as I was last year with that team last year. But I'm still nervous this year just because Quinn Ewers is a legit threat.
Agreed.
And Texas has some good defensive linemen, and they have the best defensive line coach I've ever seen, in my opinion.
He's good.
Bo Davis. And so that's an advantage they have. But Sark is the biggest reason that this game makes me nervous.
They have some weapons too.
Xavier
a little bit Saturday. Worthy and Whittington is very good too. And everyone's kind of, Bijan's gone obviously and Roshan Johnson, but they have a decent running back room. Watching them Saturday, their defense is much better or should be much better than they were last year. I think I said it previously too. Depends what Quinn shows up.
Mm-hmm.
Agreed.
This guy, especially on deep throws last year, over 15 yards, was
Carving us up.
I think he was 80th. Well, against us, he was great. But he was 80th in the nation in completion percentage past 15 yards last year.
Mm-hmm.
Out of qualifying.
80th?
So 80th.
Aye.
He struggled at times. If we can get some pressure on him, I kind of lean towards us beating them a little more than people think. That's probably just the Bama talking, but I think
I got Bam colored glasses.
Yeah, I don't know. What do you guys?
I'm right there with you with the Bam colored glasses. I'm right there with you.
To your point, maybe the nervous in these kind of games. I'm always nervous. I mean, when it comes to it, I think that's just natural. I think you had mentioned it. Their defense is much improved. They're going to put pressure. If we just start trying to run the ball against this team, like we become one-dimensional, don't be surprised if we lose. We can't make throws. We can't do anything. It's gonna be tough, but it goes back to what I've already said. I'm a little bit happier with a defense that can, we're not blitzing every play. Our middle linebacker just getting blown up every play, or trying to bull rush our outside linebackers on the tackles every time. And it appears that our secondary, they're playing a lot better. They're playing as a team. They're kind of directing traffic. I saw one. I think it was Jalen Key when he intercepted it. Whoever was playing safety, maybe it was in the star or dime packet. I'm sorry, dime or nickel package. When Key intercepted it, whoever was behind him, a Bama player, went, "Dang, I don't know if he was like, man, I could have intercepted it too."
Oh, yeah.
Or
Arnold, I think, was
Terry
behind him.
Arnold. And that's one thing. I'm like, see, that's what I want. That's what I need. I need that. I need
ball hawks.
Ball hawks. Exactly. I mean, it goes back to the 16 team. We had how many touchdowns, defensive touchdowns that year? I think it's just one of those things. I think we had, Jeff, you had pointed it to me this week, a couple of days ago. How many turnovers did we have last year?
What they say last year, that we only had like 7 interceptions all year?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. How many did we have last week?
That was an insanely low number.
2? Was it 1 or 2 in this past game?
I think we had just one.
Just one.
The one by Key.
So,
but we had some fumbles too. I mean, Kendrick Blackshire picked that guy up and took the ball from him.
Mm-hmm.
I think the biggest kind of – sorry, Parker, you can finish if you want.
No. I love it. That's what I was saying. I love it.
Yeah, no, I mean, we were not aggressive under Pete Golding. Everything looked like he was just trying to not call the wrong play.
It's like read and react is what
The safest
like.
bet.
Yeah.
Let's just hope we don't get burned. Last week, play calling, the attitude, it was just, we're going to go get it. We're going to get this money. If we mess up, so what? The guys behind me have us. Let's go do it.
It wasn't paint by numbers. That was my feeling. Like,
Thank you.
yeah.
Exactly.
Exactly it. They just, I don't even know how to describe it, but it made me extremely happy just how aggressive they were. And that makes a huge difference in college football where you don't really have to be technical when you have talent. You do to an extent, but like, let the guys ball. That's what we did last week.
Exactly.
These
Let
guys
the boys play.
are going to feast all year if they keep playing like that.
Yes, let the boys play. Just let them play.
It was more reactive almost. So like with Bob and with Pete, it was almost like they were like, well, I don't know what to do off script. You know, I don't know how to react. That was my feeling.
Yeah,
You're not wrong. I mean, Hunter, to your point, I don't know if y'all saw Lane's comment, or Lane Kiffin, the Ole Miss head coach. He had some interesting comments when it referred to the defense that he had this past weekend.
Well, first play, I think it was 75 up the gut.
Yeah, it was again, and they played Mercer. Was that right?
Mercer.
That's who they played.
No, that's the only score they gave up the rest of the game, but still.
Yeah, and that's the whole thing. But you look at it, I was like, yeah, Pete did fine against the no-name teams. All right, now it's when those big games happen.
When the Egg Bowl comes up, we'll see how that holds up.
When he's up against, athletes and like good players.
See, and Lane's not like Saban in this matter. I think Lane, if he's unhappy with Golding, he'll fire him. Maybe.
I maintain that he took Golding to get in good faith. When Saban retires, he can go in there and say, "Hey, remember, I took Golding off your hands." When you make your final
I took
call,
one for the team, guys.
Did Kirby Smart take Pete Golding? Nope. Did Steve Sarkisian? Nope. But Lane Train did. So remember what I did for you guys.
It's very strategic. I do agree.
I
think
there's I didn't lose to Duke.
Calculated. Means to an end, my friend. Means to an end, he said.
Yeah, I guess he could get fired.
Ole Miss not going to fire me? Come on. What Ole Miss going to do? I'll go 8-4 and they'll build a statue of me.
Not
Joey
wrong.
Freshwater, baby.
Well, boys, I gotta jump off here in just a little bit. Y'all got any closing statements for me, or got any questions for my opinion on a couple other things?
Give a final score prediction.
Ooh, yeah.
Anything grind your gears?
Oh,
And grind your gears, please.
what grind my gears was
I got one big thing.
Dalcourt, but that we've already talked.
Well, no,
we've already
not naming Dalcourt. That goes without saying.
what
My biggest thing. Can we? Okay. Here we go. If it's 42-0, okay, it's 42-0. I don't need my best defensive player getting smashed in the face with a helmet on a punt return. If it's 42-0,
That's fair.
I don't need to lose my best defensive player to protocol for 3 weeks because he's returning punts and getting blown up when we're up by 6 touchdowns. If it's a 1-score game or a tie game or we're behind, but yes, absolutely yes, he has to be in there. Up 6 touchdowns against a team that is not going to do anything. Please, can we not run him out there to get smashed in the face? Because he got smashed in the face. I mean, it was targeting. It wasn't a legal hit, blah, 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 but it still, the effect still happened. I mean, that stung him. You could tell. He was dinged for a second. I mean, that was a shot. So, Nick, I know you need my advice on stuff.
He's listening right now. He's that one viewer.
I know he is. Nick, dude. We go way back, Nick. We go all the way back, baby, to the Browns, okay? Me and the Nick-tator here. Do not put your best defensive player returning punts when we're up 42-0. Okay, there.
Agreed.
I had the same gripe in 20 when we lost Waddle, when he was returning kicks. Why? That team did not need extra field position from a kick return. That team was going to score in 4 or 5 plays no matter where they were on the field. So there's no point in putting Waddle out there to have a freak thing like his foot get broke. There's no point in putting Kool-Aid out there to turn the corner and get smashed in the face by an illegal targeting hit. Sure, they threw the flag, but the effect was still there. So for me, can we not do that anymore?
If y'all didn't know that,
that's what grinds my gears about Saturday.
There you go.
I mean, I was furious when he took that shot. I mean, it was like boom, and down he went, and I was like, he knocked him out. Looked like a boxer. I said, that's it. I looked at my dad. I said, Kool-Aid's in protocol for the next 3 weeks. You watch. But we got lucky. But that could have gone bad. I mean, that could have gone bad. He got popped.
Final score prediction. You had asked me, Fonz.
Sorry for that soapbox.
What's the? Can anybody pull up what the over under is?
Aren't we a 7-point favorite?
7? Yeah,
Okay,
6, 7.5.
Over under is 54.5.
38-28. Bama wins.
All right.
10-point win. We cover the spread.
What does your cat predict, Fonz?
Oh, she doesn't watch football.
Sounds like it's time for a new cat.
Yeah, I don't know what she's doing. I'm going to say 31-17, Alabama.
Okay.
I think rocky start. I think going into half, it's probably, say, 10-7, Texas. I think Quinn's very efficient in the first half, but doesn't really blow the doors off us.
Yeah.
I think we make some adjustments, and in the second half, we just take over. Very standard Bama take, but
what do you think, Murph?
I like Parker's. Might do a little bit less. I think it'll be a relatively low-scoring game, but I think 7 might be a little bit too tight. I'll still stick with the 10. I think that's what I'm going to go with.
All right.
What were we looking at as the final score there, Hunter? What did you say? Like what?
30, well, I've had a few
30,
beers,
20?
so I can't really do that kind of math. So.
So.
What was your score, Parker?
38-28.
There you go.
So he said it'll be a 10-point game, regardless of the score. It's a 10-point game. There
for me. Yep. Yeah. Gotcha.
That's why I thought I understood.
Sorry, I
10-point game.
I must have zoned out at that point. Sorry.
No, he didn't give an actual score range, but he did say a 10.
That's what I'm here for.
Yeah. Thank you.
So, all right. So I'll say I think that it's going to be very, like Fonzie said, very low scoring in the first half. I could see a 10-10, 10-7, 14-10 maybe. But I think the final is going to be. I think Alabama's going to win 34-24.
10-point game. All right, you're going
10-point
with it.
game.
Okay, so
I think it'll be a 10-point game.
I could
I'm
say
being generous, but with the 24, I think Texas.
I like what both of y'all said for the halftime. 10-7, 14-10, 17-10, somewhere around there. I think that's fair. We're gonna be throwing punches and figuratives.
First half is going to be really intense. I know that for sure.
Thanks, Andy. Thank you for that. Yeah.
Parker, share some life news on the show.
Yes. For those who end up watching this whenever that happens, I gonna be taking the vows. Got engaged over the weekend, so gonna be with my lovely fiance Darby. Be good to see what happens, but yeah, we'll
Congratulations, my friend.
Appreciate it. Thank you, guys. Thanks.
Moving, getting engaged, like Parker's got a lot of stuff going on.
They just call that growing up, right? Is that what they say?
Yeah, no kidding. So that's cool, man. So
Yeah.
congrats to Parker and Darby. I've met Darby. She's a very lovely lady, very sweet girl. So
Yes, keeps the ship right. Keeps
she's
the
gonna be the
ship
guest of honor on one of these shows.
Yes,
The guest
she'll,
picker.
Please.
she'll come in and be like, "All right, well, who's winning?" I'll be like, "No game's going
Do
on.
not
We're
come in
just
here. Like if we're losing by 2 touchdowns, they'll throw
Throwing
a
the-
shoe across the room.
What's wrong, Gary?
You know what I'm talking about, Parker. You know exactly what I'm talking about. Yeah.
What's wrong? Do not come in here.
Do not come in here. And the shoe, like, she runs out.
Great movie. God, so good. Can't believe that was 23
That's
years ago,
nuts.
people.
That's
2000.
nuts.
Oh my
That's
God.
nuts.
Four
All right,
minutes.
gentlemen. Well, big week 1 win. Huge game Saturday. Game day is going to be there. A huge weekend for recruits. There's a
Yes.
shack ton of big time prospects that are going to be in Tuscaloosa this weekend. I imagine there'll be some former players there, probably not active because the NFL starts the next day. And so, but I'm sure we'll see some former players that aren't playing anymore there. It's going to be a big weekend. Prime time on ESPN at 6 o'clock Central, 7 o'clock Eastern. So it's going to be a big time atmosphere. I hope Bryant Denny shows up. You know, the reputation of being the quietest 100,000 seat stadium is there for a reason, but it can also be insanely loud. So we really need the Bryant Denny crowd to blow this sucker up.
One of my last things, anybody who ends up watching this is going to this game, I want to hear it be as loud as it was in the 2014 Alabama versus Auburn game. Or how about this, the 2019 Alabama versus LSU game. I need y'all on this. I need it. All right? We need to make this an atmosphere where people are scared to come and play here. They're not.
I want to hear it from Birmingham. We're there.
Yeah,
I want to
mean,
hear it
I need
from
to
Birmingham.
shake the
We'll be
ground.
there.
So
I want to hear it.
it was pretty loud at Darrell K. Royal Stadium last year for that prime time 11 a.m. kickoff for the Big 12. Well done, guys.
I could
Biggest
hear
game
it
of
to
the
the
year,
TV.
11 a.m. I mean, we're putting our scrub games on 11 a.m. The Big 12 is like, this is the prime time slot, 11 a.m. So anyway,
That's
welcome to
about
prime
it.
time, Texas. This is what it's like when you play in prime time. Welcome to the SEC. You get to play in games like this now.
6 o'clock.
11, big noon. Get out of here, big noon.
More like a big dump.
So anyway, that's a good way to sign off on the show. Gentlemen, enjoyed the recap. Enjoyed the show. Good to see you guys, as always.
Remember
Roll Tide.
to like and subscribe.
Thank you, Parker. Like and subscribe. Roll Tide, gentlemen.
Roll Tide.
We're bad.